Good evening. I'm John Bailey. This is People to Be Heard, the program where people who have something to say have their say. Tonight, we've got Ed Dennis, Assistant Vice President for Berkeley College Office of Military and Veteran Affairs in White Plains, New York, USA, and welcome to the program. I'm joined by two military veterans, retired, who are Berkeley College graduates, Crystal Campbell and Vincent Nucci to talk about their after Army experience and transition to civilian life observations. First, Mr. Dennis, you are here because recently you held a virtual forum on returning veterans' experiences at Berkeley College, titled From a Military to a Civilian Career, an alumni panel discussion. How did transition of veterans issues become recognized as a major problem?
Well, John, we recognize in talking with current students and our alumni that there's a significant challenge for returning veterans. Even on a national level, that's recognized. So Berkeley College wanted to put something together to help identify it and just have an open discussion on it.
Mm-hmm. And what what were some of the situations that have developed as a result of this seminar?
Well, interestingly enough, we had kicked the idea around for a while about a sponsorship program for incoming veterans, and we finally put it to the test. So in this upcoming semester in January, quite a few of our alumni and current students who are very successful are going to take on a sponsorship for those veterans who are coming in for their first semester. Just to answer those questions and to ease in that transition and make them feel a little more comfortable so that they can be successful.
Mm-hmm. And if veterans watching this program would like some advice on this, is there a phone number they should contact to be considered for this?
Well, probably the best way to do it would be to email me at edward-dennis@berkeleycollege.edu.
I see. And now, what were some of the situations that have developed as a result? Wait, Ms. Campbell, what did you do in the Army and your position now, your employer, and where you are now?
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Crystal, and I'm an alumni from Berkeley College. While I was in the military, I actually worked as a communication specialist, which is basically a person who troubleshoots, all communication devices, radios, computers, printers, satellites, so on and so forth. When I had left the military, it took me a while to get back to school. I started Berkeley. I graduated from Berkeley last year with my fashion merchandise management degree. And now I'm currently working as a flight attendant. I really love that job, but I'm also doing, entrepreneurship business on the side. So, that knowledge that I gained from Berkeley College is really coming in handy.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Nucci, your military experience, and you're now acting executive director of the New York Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Could you describe your transition?
Yes, sir. I was a 15-year veteran of the United States Army. Primarily, I was in soldier development. Right now, I'm the acting executive director of the New York Veterans Chamber of Commerce. I found my transition was a little rocky, but the help of the OMVA and Berkeley College, my transition went pretty well.
Mm-hmm. And what are the challenges you face in searching for a career after the military?
Well, I believe that my biggest challenge was where to begin. The military gives you a lot of different tools and trades, and you're basically a jack of all trades. You're a leader and you have a primary position and a primary job. Transitioning into the civilian world to try to pinpoint exactly what you were really good at was probably the hardest part. You want to do everything, but there isn't a job out there that allows you to do absolutely everything. You have to be a subject matter expert.
Mm-hmm. And what are the resources did you use to assist with your transition?
Honestly, I used the OMVA with Berkeley College. Ed Dennis was instrumental in my transition. He made it basically seamless. Becoming a civilian and becoming a student I also use the Disabled American Veterans Group, which I am a member. But the OMVA and Berkeley College and Ed Dennis, they really gave me the tools to succeed.
Um, Crystal, do you have anything to add to that? Of how you were helped in the transition period?
Oh, of course. So when I left, I forgot to specify I was in the U.S. Army as well, active duty. I was actually stationed in Anchorage, Alaska. And when I left Alaska, I really didn't know where to go from there. Even when I had started college, before I had found the Veterans Department, I didn't talk to anyone. It was very difficult for me to transition back in like civilian life, like getting to know people, networking, and so on and so forth. Like joining the veterans group, when I did, really, really helped me. It helped me to transition mentally and otherwise. It gave me kind of like the confidence that I needed that, I can find a job after this. Because a lot of veterans, they leave the military, they're like, oh, I'm just gonna go back to school, with my GI Bill, and let's see where it goes from there. We don't know that there's going to be help out there for us. And you lose a lot of your personal skills when you join the military sometimes, because you're just there answering orders and stuff like that. So some of that confidence leaves you, your social confidence. So by joining the veterans group, I was able to, gain back that confidence that I had before, I even joined the military. So I'm really grateful for that. It's like you feel like you're a part of a family,
Well, this is interesting. You mentioned that feeling of loneliness after you leave an organization that you're part of for so long. Is this very prevalent?
Of course.
That feeling? Yeah.
Yeah, it is very prevalent. I hear from a lot of the veterans. I used to stay in the veterans lounge a lot. So I would see veterans come in and out. I always introduce myself to the new veterans, to let them know how it feels to be welcome, because that's kind of how I felt when initially I got to the school. I didn't even know that they had it. And then when I found out, it was like the best thing that happened to me, Yeah.
Fantastic. Mr. Dennis, going back on the loneliness problem, this is what you feel the alumni will do to help new veterans seeking advice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's been some national studies, and there's a lot of work going on with this now because, it's been identified that, when veterans transition out, they've established new values and norms, and the camaraderie that they had in the military, when they transition out, all of a sudden there's a big vacuum because it's no longer there. And, you can't just find a veteran walking down the street. You have to go to places where veterans kind of congregate. So, that's what we provide with our Veterans Resource Centers, and I tell you, there's other programs going on. One of them that's interesting for folks out there, if you want to look into it, is a ETS sponsorship program. And this is completely outside of Berkeley, but it takes what they do in the military is when you go from one location to another, so your permanent change of station, they assign you a sponsor when you get to your new station. And that sponsor helps you with the transition. They help you with housing. They help you with, where's the grocery store, the commissary, where's the schools? How do you get your kids enrolled? To make that transition short and very helpful, and we're looking to replicate something similar to that with that college experience, by asking questions like, what do you plan on doing when you graduate? Because, I saw it when I was on active duty, and I seen it when I get out. Well, what do you want to do when you graduate? I'm going to get a job. And I'm like, well, what job do you want to get? Because if you don't
I remember that. I remember that feeling when I left the job in Washington. I said, well, I'll just go up to New York and get a job in advertising. I had no idea. I just got lucky. But I mean, now for our two veteran guests, how did pursuing a college degree impact your lives? Mr. Nucci?
Well, when before I joined the military, obviously out of high school, I didn't have the regular road out of high school. I actually dropped out of high school and got my GED. Pursuing a college degree was something I never even thought of in the military. Never thought about it whatsoever. After speaking with the staff at Berkeley College, they showed me, it wasn't just a degree and it wasn't just a piece of paper. So that honestly motivated me to find out what type of person I really was outside of the uniform. And Berkeley College really showed me what I became as a civilian and as a student.
Mhm. And Crystal?
Can you repeat the question again so I can answer it
Of
thoroughly?
course. How did pursuing a college degree impact your life, and what kept you going to find success?
Um, well, I've actually always wanted to have my degree because my family is like very strict on education. So I always had the desire to go to school. However, um, joining the military made it even more possible for me to get my degree. It didn't seem so distant anymore. I knew I was going to get my degree, but through the military, it gave me that, more of a hope that it's more tangible. And when I got out, and knowing what I had, I didn't even understand the value of, our benefits and going to college until I had left and spoken to a few other people from the Veterans Department. And that's when I really understood the value and the importance of my degree. So when you're a child, you just want a degree because your parents says to get a degree. But when you get older, you start realizing from other successful people, you look at successful people and you say, I want to be like that. What are the steps they're taking in order to gain that success? And so once you start speaking to them, you realize, oh, a degree is very important. And, that's how I ended up at Berkeley College, because they have so many resources, and speaking to the Veterans Department, they gave me the extra confidence that I needed to know that this is definitely possible. And you don't just need a degree. You need the support afterwards in order to pursue the job, because there's plenty of people with degrees right now that don't have a job. But Berkeley College ensures that you have the support that you need while you're in school and after you leave the college in order to, get the job that you desire. They call you, they check on you. I remember when I graduated, they called me so much, to make sure I had a job. I kept telling them, look, I have a job already.
Well, that's great. Well, it also means that they care.
Exactly.
You
That
need
was
to know people care about you. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yes. Mr. Nucci, I'm sorry about that. What are some techniques you can provide about how to speak on your own behalf, self-advocacy? How has networking been successful to you?
The best advice that I can give someone for self-advocacy is for you to sell yourself. You know what you're worth. You know what your qualities are, and you know what is important to you, which can transition to what is important to someone else. Being here at the New York Veterans Chamber of Commerce, they've allowed me to take what's great inside of me and to actually help other veterans transition, become the whole veteran, and grow their business. So I had to sell myself to the New York Veterans Chamber of Commerce, so they knew what was important and great about me. So by doing that, you definitely show your worth.
Well, I think that is one great thing about the military. It inspires confidence, builds you as a person. Is that right?
Absolutely.
How is your job as executive director? Your new job, right? Right.
Sorry.
How do you see that changing? What are you going to bring?
Well, coming up this year in the New York Veterans Chamber of Commerce, we're going to have a lot of things for not only the small business owner, but for the veteran corporation as well. We've got a lot of educational seminars that are coming up. We have a lot of virtual and in-person networking, hopefully more in person once we get back to normal. But right now we're doing a lot of virtual networking. There is a job expo coming up December 3rd. There are a lot of different things that the New York Veterans Chamber of Commerce is doing for veterans and for veteran small business owners. Now, here at the New York Veterans Chamber of Commerce, like I said, we like to service the whole veteran. We understand that it is not just the business, it's the veteran themselves. So we have people in our chamber that help veterans transition and keep their lives positive going through the transition, and then once we become full-fledged civilians.
Mr. Dennis, do you have anything to add to that philosophy?
Oh, it's a perfect philosophy. You know, one of my mentors when I retired from the Army told me being a retiree is a team sport. And what I found out in working in higher education with a lot of, younger veterans that are transitioning out is that, being a veteran is a team sport. So, we need to all help each other out and, build each other up. And I think what Vincent's doing in the New York Veterans Chamber of Commerce is awesome.
Mm-hmm. And now, Ms. Campbell, Mr. Nucci, do you have something you want to say to prospective employers of veterans and veterans struggling to transition successfully? Crystal, you want to go first?
Sure. So what I would say to potential employers about veterans is that they have a lot of good coming to them. Veterans are not only, they not only know their job, but they think very quickly. We have a lot to bring to the table when it comes to understanding how to deal with challenges.
Mhm.
So soldiers are basically, trained to handle whatever is thrown their way.
Mhm.
And every employer wants to know that their worker, no matter, regardless of what the challenge is going to stick to it and is going to find a solution, regardless of what the challenge is. I would say that, to every employer that they have amazing faculty coming to them from a veteran. And
As the veteran was honored by White Plains at their Veterans Day ceremony said, and she was the first female veteran to be honored at a White Plains Veterans Day ceremony, said, "No job is too small."
yeah,
And because everybody had to do it right. And I thought what a great philosophy. If everybody felt that way, wouldn't we all be in a better shape? Exactly. But anyway, I digress. Mr. Nucci, your thoughts on that? What would you say to employers as to why they should hire veterans?
Well, to employers, I would say, remember our loyalty. I'm a non-commissioned officer, and I was a non-commissioned officer in 2002. Part of that non-commissioned officer creed is I will be loyal to those with whom I serve, seniors, peers, and subordinates alike. Veterans offer a loyalty that is unmatched. From the moment you raise your right hand and swear in to the moment that you leave service, you are loyal to your country, you are loyal to your leaders. Veterans offer this loyalty to their superiors as well. So once you invest in a veteran, you're not just investing in that person, you're investing in that loyalty and in those morals as well.
Well put. And this will, of course, translate into perfection of performance, right?
Absolutely. It definitely does.
Yes.
Now, this is my personal opinion, but I believe that veterans, they hold themselves accountable regardless of the situation in which they find themselves.
Mhm.
So they believe in giving their all. That's why I love working with veteran business owners here at the New York Veterans Chamber of Commerce, because they know that this is their business, this is their heart. They're loyal to themselves and to their customers.
Absolutely. Is there a way that veteran business owners can reach out to say, hey, we are interested in hiring veterans like ourselves?
Please, absolutely. Our telephone number here at the New York Veterans Chamber of Commerce is 212-840-VETS or 8387. or you can reach me at Denucci, D-E-N as in Nancy, U-C-C-I, at NewYorkVeteransChamber.org.
Okay. Now, Mr. Dennis, I just want to ask you if you can sort of wrap this up and tell us, is the Berkeley College really in the forefront of this? Did you do all this reaching out to veterans on your own accord for many years?
Yes, and I'd just like to add one thing to what they were talking about. There was a study about 4 years ago. The Society of Human Resource Management identified the top 10 skills that employers were looking for that employees were lacking. And around the same time, there was an exit survey of veterans as they were transitioning out. And they asked them, what qualities do you have? And interestingly enough, they had the qualities employers were looking for. So the disconnect is connecting them together. And to answer your question, Berkeley College is really focused on veterans for a long time. In our programming, we're outcome oriented. What are the outcomes of your degree? Are you going to be successful when you transition out? And what resources can we provide for you while you're here to make sure that you're successful? So that is kind of summarized, I think.
Right. And I also wanted to ask, I mean, there are persons that really don't feel their college material or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, what would you say to that?
Well, it's kind of funny you say that. I barely made it out of high school. And now I have an MBA, and I attribute all that to, what I learned in the military, focusing on the little things, and if you focus on the little things and you're not above doing, what some people might think are menial tasks in order to accomplish your overall goal, and you take pride in what you do, even if you don't like doing it, and do your best, the time management, the ability to, really push through stuff that you don't really like. And, the soft skills that come with being in the military. There's a lot of folks that go into the military, they come from their community and they know their community. But then all of a sudden you're with people from all over the world and all over the country with completely different, backgrounds. So you have soft skills and interpersonal skills that are very desirable in the private sector.
Well, Mr. Dennis, I understand that the U.S. News and World Report has honored Berkeley College for being one of the best online and veterans educational services. And do you want to talk about what makes you that outstanding in this nation of big name colleges, and Berkeley is honored for this?
Yes, sir. We are honored to be recognized, for several years in the online and veteran community. And I would say we have the same resources for our on-campus students as our online students. And interestingly, Berkeley College was in the online space over 20 years ago. So we have a lot of experience in that. So even with the, the transition to COVID, we were able to easily transition those classroom classes to online. But what really makes us stand out with the students, I think, is, we have predictive analytics, this program called Civitas that looks at data points on every student every night. So if there's a change in a trend, on students, then it's identified and the academic advisor will reach out to them, which, promotes student success and student success and high academic achievement.
Now, Mr. Nucci, what was your online experience? I understand it was exclusively online.
With my MBA with the MBA program with Berkeley, it has been strictly virtual and online. I've always been skeptical of online courses. This course program and Berkeley College's MBA program online is outstanding. The communication is always there between the students and the professors. Even if there is no initial communication from the student to the professor is constantly reaching out. And not only is it the teaching staff, but all the faculty at Berkeley College also reaches out to you to give you progress reports and keep you on track.
Crystal, your experience with that?
So while I was attending Berkeley College, I actually did an online course and an in-school course. And let me tell you, sometimes I couldn't tell the difference when I went online to do my homework. It was basically the same, same kind of work. sometimes the online is even, it seems to be more taxing sometimes because people think they can get away. No, those professors are on top of you. You know, we had group assignments just the same. You know, you still had to, sometimes we had Zoom meetings with our classmates. You know, sometimes we'd even meet up to ensure our project, you know, was seamless. So the online experience is as good as you make it, because they provide all the resources that you need, so you won't even feel like you're in an online class, because you can still do the same exact things that you did with in school. Yeah.
Well, listen, how does your immediate families react to your online learning? Has it been tough? Have they been supportive? First, Mr. Dennis.
That's a great question, sir. You know, it's interesting with veterans, almost 90% of them, they're first generation to go to college. So a lot of them inspire their children and their other family members to go as well. So I think Vincent and Crystal probably have a lot more to say on it than me.
Okay. Crystal Campbell.
So I think the online school currently, it gives you the opportunity to spend a little bit more time with your family sometimes, since you don't have to actually exit your home to do so. My family's been very supportive of me going to school. You know, they always give me space whenever I tell them, look, I have class right now. Everybody's quiet. Like, I need to watch, you know, I need to be in my class and be present. And they're very supportive of that. No one disturbs me because they understand the importance that I put on school and everything like that. And it also encourages like the younger generation in my family to, you know, want to serve. Like, I'm actually the second person out of my family to join the military, because I saw my older sister join the Air Force. My younger sister joined the Air Force, and my younger brother, he actually saw the change and also decided to join the military. So my whole entire family is in the military because they observed the pattern of success that we've had.
Uh-huh.
So I will say this is a good thing. Yeah.
Okay. And Mr. Nucci.
So since I started at Berkeley College, I've seen a significant change in my children. They've witnessed how hard I worked to get my bachelor's degree, and in turn, it's motivated my children. Their grades have improved substantially. They went from B's to C's to all A's, and they see how hard I work on projects and papers and assignments, and it makes them work hard as well, because they know, if dad can do it, I can do it too.
Okay. Now, just as we're coming to about the end of the program, could you give us some numbers for everybody to call? All right, if they are interested in following up on what they've heard tonight.
All right, let me look up my number because I never call it at work. So you have to forgive me on that.
Absolutely. Okay.
It's 973-200-1100, extension 4515 is my direct
Okay.
number.
All right. Thank you. And now, Crystal Campbell, Vincent Nucci, the future for you. How does it look to you now?
Ladies first.
Oh, hi. So the future for me now looks very bright. I'm pursuing business for my, like a personal business, so I could work from home eventually. That's my goal. So after I have children, I can work from home, maintaining my own business. So that's what the future is looking like for me.
And Mr. Nucci?
My future is looking very, very bright. I graduate in April with my MBA from Berkeley College. The New York Veterans Chamber of Commerce is growing and growing and growing. Crystal, please give me a call. I can help you with that business dream. And I'm grateful for everything that I have, especially here at the New York Veterans Chamber of Commerce, servicing the whole veterans, getting them started in life. Life is good, my friend.
Thank you very much. Now, Ed Dennis, Assistant Vice President at Berkeley College, Office of Military and Veterans Affairs. Crystal Campbell and Vincent Nucci, transitioning veterans of the U.S. Army. You have been heard. Thank you for coming on the program and for your service. And this is John Bailey saying good night for People to be Heard.